Day 3, I hopped on a train out of town, and it was kind of cool to pass through all these neighborhoods, different parts of Paris that I hadn't seen before. And this 36-minute train ride took me to the Palace of Versailles. Now, I was kind of excited to go to Versailles, but I have to be honest, it's probably the first stop along my 2 trips to Paris that kind of disappointed me. Like, it was very, very impressive. It was opulent as expected and, grandiose in that way that it has to be, a palace. But there was just something about it that didn't strike the same fire in me that other places in Paris do. Now, this was certainly not helped by the fact that some of the, grander parts of the place were actually closed to people for the day. Construction or renovations were going on all over the place. Tons of areas were blocked off. And so some of the cooler parts of the palace I never actually got to see. But I did, walk around and did the thing and saw everything I was supposed to see. Later, I went to the Museum d'Orsay, which I was very much looking forward to going into. It's different from the Louvre, obviously, but just as epic and just as cool. This brilliant, beautiful former train station is like Grand Central on crack with beautiful works of art inside. And this wonderful statue of Beethoven, I swear to God, I want this on my wall. Statues in general all over the place were just incredible. I have truly begun to appreciate statues and sculptures in a way that I never had before, because there's so much great detail in them. Coming up close and personal with the Van Gogh exhibit was pretty spectacular. Van Gogh is one of those artists that I never really appreciated too much, but when you're face to face with these paintings, when you can, tilt your head and see the shadows and the light bouncing off of the brushstrokes, and you can see all the crazy, intricate details in these paintings, it is truly stunning and a little humbling. And this, I think, here's my favorite. Next up was Monet, and I have a very special relationship with Monet. When I was in the 6th grade, I wrote a poem inspired by one of his paintings, a painting which unfortunately is in London, not here in Paris. But it was the first experience I had writing something that I genuinely thought was good and that people liked. And that whole experience, honestly, coupled with a couple other things, turned me into a writer. And so here, with Claude Monet, a century apart, from his paintings to my writing, I've always felt connected to him. And so it was cool to be standing in front of his actual works of art. It's not just the pictures that inspired me to write all those years ago. And that's one of the most amazing things about art, that it can connect people through time and space forever. And that's something that'll never go away. After the museum, I wanted to have a little normal Parisian experience, so I went to this mall, which was very cool. It's interesting trying to get around a French mall when you don't speak French. Luckily, most malls are pretty much the same. Ended up going to see a movie, and the only English language movie that was starting around the time I was there was Jumanji, but it was actually really good, so I recommend going to see that. I ended the day watching the AFC Championship game, seeing the Patriots defeat the Jaguars. I was surrounded by a surprising number of Patriot fans. Some of them were American, most of them, though, were French or British. So that was a very cool way to end the day, experiencing football from this new perspective.